Hi guys,
Hi
we're
there.
back after like a long absence. I feel.
No, we've been very bad social media YouTube people. We've actually had an awful reprieve. We haven't had enough content recently.
No.
We promised to make it up to everybody. Sadly, it's not that we haven't drank enough bourbon. We just haven't drank enough bourbon together.
We've tried vast amounts of bourbon over the last several months.
So we have a lot to catch up on with
Yep.
everybody. But what we wanted to do today, we're in Florida, which is a place that really inspires us.
Sunshine State, and you know what? It's Easter and Passover at the same time, like a mashup.
You know, we never really need a good reason to drink bourbon, but this is as good as any. It's
Celebrations
Easter.
everywhere.
We're celebrating for all of the religions
That's
tonight.
exactly right. We're an equal opportunity bourbon banter.
So in honor of all these blessed holidays, we're going to do something that is kind of a staple. It's Woodford Reserve. You probably have seen Woodford Reserve pretty much everywhere.
It's usually the high-end choice. Tonight we're in Fort Lauderdale at 15th Street Fisheries Restaurant, right on the Intercoastal Waterway. It's gorgeous. And so when we asked for their bourbon offerings, it included Jack Daniels, a few others, and their high-end choice was Woodford Reserve. And I think it's pretty consistent with what you see pretty much, at least on the East Coast where we live. Woodford Reserve is considered a more of a high-end choice in a lot of restaurants.
It's a high-end choice, but in restaurants that, you know, they think that this is kind of the epitome of high-end bourbon. And the reason is, so the Brown-Forman, the company that makes Jack Daniels, is also the company that makes Woodford Reserve.
Interesting.
So all of the distributors that distribute Jack Daniels, by virtue of having the relationship, they get Woodford. And one of the
Yeah.
things I recently noticed, if you fly American Airlines, you're going to see Woodford Reserve as the choice of bourbon available on American Airlines.
And probably also Jack Daniels, right?
Jack
For
Daniels,
a lesser price.
which Jack Daniels is not bourbon.
No, it's not. It's Tennessee whiskey.
Tennessee whiskey.
We know that for a fact. We read it.
Not the same thing at all.
No.
But Woodford is genuine Woodford bourbon. It's genuine Kentucky bourbon. So we're going to give it a try and see.
Why not? You know, I don't think that I've ever had this bourbon just straight over a little bit of ice like we're having it. Every time I've ordered it in a restaurant around where we live, I've had it in a mixed drink, which has always been very good. But I really don't know what the spirit tastes like on its own. I can be perfectly honest with you about that.
Well, let's give it a try.
I'm open-minded.
I have had it on airplanes and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it there.
It's a whole
but
different
compared to Jack
experience.
Daniels, it's awesome. And plus, when you're that high in altitude, I think it hits you better.
Yes, I think water would hit you better.
No, water would not hit me better. Bourbon always hits me better than water. So we're going to put this a little bit on ice. I know
It's a little melted ice.
it's a little bit melted
Frankly.
because in Florida it's a little
God, it melts fast.
it's a little warm, right, in Florida?
Yes. I swear he just filled these glasses with ice and it melted within 30 seconds.
But we're doing we're going to try it this way because it's not the level of bourbon that
No.
we typically like to drink neat. It's something it's a premium bourbon considered, but not compared to probably some of the great stuff many of you have tried.
It's a nice caramel color, in the glass. I mean, nothing too dark. I've seen ruby red bourbons that were aged in port barrels look different. I mean, this is a caramel brown color.
It's 45.2% alcohol, so it's basically a 90 proof bourbon. It's a nice bourbon.
Very mild on the aroma too. Like a little hint of nut, I feel.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of earthiness to it, a little bit of graininess to the scent. It
Not strong at all.
no, kind of hits your nostrils. You don't feel a lot of intensity.
No.
It's kind of
Easygoing.
Yeah, it's an easygoing, mild flavor.
Shall we try?
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend. If anything could be medium, Woodford Reserve is medium. It's not too bitey. It doesn't linger too long, maybe a good 15 seconds on the tongue. Goes away quickly. It hits you with its slight little sparkiness, but doesn't hang around too long. So, it's uninspiring, like as a piece of art, but it's a respectable bourbon, I feel.
it's respectable.
Right.
You'd let it in the house.
Right.
You may let it sleep on the couch.
Maybe.
I don't know if you'd invite it to your bedroom.
Probably not. No.
The sense
Strictly
I
the
get
couch.
though, you said medium. I actually feel a little bit of like harshness actually.
Really?
Yeah. And when I taste it, a really good bourbon to me has a lot of elements of flavor, a lot of flavor palette, and then it either provides heat or it dissipates or it ends up with a smooth finish. This to me has a harsh finish.
Okay.
As I swallow it, it lingers actually for me a little bit.
And not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Not in a sweet way.
Like the initial taste is nice. It's fine.
It's fine. It's not.
It's fine.
It doesn't blow your brains, but it's medium. It's fine. A little sparkle goes down, but you're right. The aftertaste.
The aftertaste is
maybe too grainy. I don't know.
It's like they made the bourbon and they spent a lot of time at the beginning and they had no follow through.
Yeah.
They kind of gave up in the middle.
Yes.
And they said, you know what? Once they bought it, we don't really care what happens after that.
No, I don't think it's not very artisan tasting.
No.
There's not a lot going on in the flavor. You're not getting different flavor notes. You know, it's terrific mixed in drinks. Like your bartender comes up with seasonal, beautiful drinks. To drink over ice, it's completely fine. You know, is it better than Knob Creek? Probably a little bit better than Knob Creek.
Yeah.
Knob Creek to me is very grainy. This is not. This is very mild, smooth bourbon over ice. I would order this. If the restaurant offered me this, I would order this.
And here's the thing. I think a lot of times you'll go to a place where you're going to have a choice of Jack Daniels or Jim Beam or Evan Williams and then Woodford.
Yeah.
And so if you really are a bourbon fan, as I know many of you are, and you're not looking for Tennessee whiskey and what pretends to be bourbon, this is a legitimate bourbon.
Legit,
But
totally.
it's not a great bourbon.
No.
It's a
It's
passable
not going to
bourbon.
blow your brains out.
No.
You're not going to stay up at night thinking about this bourbon. You're going to go to sleep. You're going to go home and go to sleep like it was any other night.
And if you have a few too many of them,
Well,
you may regret it
go
in the
to
morning.
sleep earlier.
You may regret it. You may say, you know what? I'm waking up, my head hurts.
Your spouse will not be happy
And
with
it
you
wasn't
at all.
it wasn't the experience I was hoping for.
It's sort of a letdown, actually.
It was a bit of a letdown. I had a few too many. You know, whereas some other bourbons, you know, you're okay in the morning.
Blow your brains out.
You'll think back upon it and say it was worth it.
Yeah. Nah, you
not
won't.
worth it.
It's average.
It's average.
It's average.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friends.